Hello friends, you are welcome to Creative Events platform Today I'm just making a video on this Hatinator. I love the concept. The main focus of this video is going to be on how to block the art top, which is the crown, and then I'll do the finishing of the Hatinator. Now these are the things I will need to go through this project: paper mat, the mold, art wire, pins, cellophane, also known as paper bag, top bond. I'll use it as stiffener, oil for me to oil the mold so that it will not stick after it's dried up, and all of that. So I am actually focused on showing you how to block the crown, because a lot of persons just ask me, what is a paper mat, how did you get that cap and all of that. So I just want to avoid that question here today. So I'm using top bond. Of course you can use top bond as a stiffener. So I'll start by wrapping the mold and then taking the measurement I would need to cut for the mat. So you see the way I measured, that's how you should measure. Go in by 1 inch on both sides. So what I have is 14 inches by 14. So once you have 14, you just do it a square, 14 by 14. So that's what I'll be cutting out, and I want to use two layers. So I'll be doing two layers. Since I'll be doing two layers, I'll cut 14 by 28, and then I'll split it into two. Is that okay? So the color of the paper mat I have is white. So paper mat has different colors. You can get red, black, gold. You can get ash, which is also used as silver, and all of that. So it's all right. So right now 14 by 14 is ready. I'm just splitting it into two. So for those of you that always ask me question on how you can block the crown, I'm doing a tutorials because of you. All right, so now this is the crown. It's prepared. I've wrapped it. I'll drop some oil on it. The oil I'm using is a machine oil, so you can use Vaseline. Yeah, you can use Vaseline. You can use hair cream. You can use Vaseline. You can use hair cream. All you need to, all you are after is to avoid the mat sticking to the mold, because when you want to pull it, it has to be removed easily. So this is the top bond. You know it's usually thick, so you are expected to like mix it up with water and lighten it up a little before you use it. So for this, it is thick. When we are dealing on cinnamon, we do not make thick stiffeners. They are very light, and you just use it to damp. Of course, you first of all mold before you use it to damp. If I can come up with a video on that, I will. Okay, so this is the paper mat. I just like soak it into the stiffener, and then I'll just uh squeeze it out, as in try as much as possible to remove the stiffener. All I need is just for it to be wet. If the paper mat is not well soaked in the stiffener, it has a way of breaking fast and the mold does not last. So you don't mold paper mat the same way you mold what do they call it, cinnamon. Yeah. All right, so this is it. Let's go into how I mold this uh crown. So what I'm just doing is cleaning my hands with it, and I'm just doing what I'm doing now to smoothen in the stiffener so that it will not be concentrated on a particular portion. You understand? So I just like squeeze it, mash it together, to make sure that the stiffness spread all over and is not concentrated on one portion. So if you look at this video carefully, if you watch carefully, you'll be able to understand how I went through this molding and how I was able to achieve. Anyway, I did not use this white one. What I used was a black. So I actually mold this one because of these tutorials. I don't want to just come up with the crown and I start the tutorials for you. I don't want to get you confused at all. That's not my plan. I want you to follow whatever I'm doing and I want you to understand it. This is a class and I expect that all my students should be able to follow my teaching. All right. So if today is your first time stopping by Creative Ends platform, if you are seeing my channel for the first time and you decide to watch my videos, thank you. All right, and please do not forget to subscribe so that you can see more of my videos, because once you are a subscriber you always be notified whenever I upload a new video. Just don't forget to hit on that bell. Through that bell, if you touch that bell now, you always be notified whenever I upload a new video, and every video that I'm uploading is useful. Yeah, I don't just do tutorials, I do tutorials that are meaningful. Yes. So this is how I go about molding. I'll first of all pin the east, west, north, and south, which is four corners of the crown. That will help it to stay in position while you try to pull the rest, you know, you pull it so tight so that every you get that smoothness, you make it smooth as you pin, you understand. And for you to do that you have to like apply some kind of force, some kind of weight, some kind of energy, some kind of strength to it so that you can actually smoothen it up and get the exact shape of the mold that you are using. So now you can see I am done with the molding. I'm done with the molding of the crown. I'm only removing this part because once it's dried along with it, it's difficult for you to trim out at that point. It's not like you cannot trim it, but it's stressful. So if there is anything that will stress you, I would like you to avoid it, just as I'm avoiding it now. So I'll just trim it off and then I'll take it to the sun for it to dry. If you have a good sun, a good weather, it will dry fast. If not, it will take some days. But if you have hand dryer, you can use the hand dryer to blow it. Or even if you have the big dryer and you have something that is the air dryer, you can just put it inside and on the dryer. So if you are doing a work and you are in a hurry, just just use dryer. You don't wait for the sun. All right, so that one is ready. Now we are going to talk about the brain, the brain. So to do that, I'm going to be using art wire. Okay, the size of the art wire I used for this brain is 60 inches. That's by length, you understand? 60 inches long. So what I did was to bring the wire together, the edges together, and then I simply use sellotape to like hold the edges together first. So that will just help it to form the circle that I'm looking for, just to form the circle. So one more thing, the art wire comes in different what they call it now, let me call it sizes. It comes in different sizes. So we have the ones that are very light, and then we have some that are so thick. So when you are doing a work that you know is big, hmm, and you want it to really stand firm, I will advise that you buy that very thick one. Yeah. So this is just it. And if you don't have the thick one and you need to do something, you can double your wire. Yes, me, I normally double mine to get the weight I want and get it to stand the way I want. So the next thing I'm doing is to use bias to wrap through the wire, and to do that I might just use hot glue, or I can just use a lighter. I can just use lighter instead of plugging hot glue. I'll just melt a little bit of the hot, that's the candle, and then use it to touch the bias or to touch the hot wire. That's for the first point where I'll be the first point I'll be holding down. I'll just touch it there and then use it to wrap the first place. So that one will keep it in position. You don't need to keep adding the candle glue to it. Just only one point that you hold down is okay. So with that, you can wrap the wire until you get to the last part. Then you use the same candle glue again to hold it down. So right now I am done preparing my art wire. So I've told you before that it's 16 inches. So just like a kind of reminder, I'm just going to use my net to cover it through. So what I did was to buy 2 yards of net. It's not because I'm going to finish it, but because I don't want to manage it. That's just the right word I should use. I don't want to manage it. And secondly, I don't want to force it together. If you force it together, the wire, the circle you are trying to create will now become like a sphere that has become like egg shape. You understand? So if you want it completely round, you need to use enough material which will not allow you to like try to you are trying to force one end to meet the other. Once you have that challenge of trying to force one end to meet the other, definitely your circle cannot be completely round anymore. It will just take the egg shape. So I bought 2 yards of net, and that was what I used. So I have some that are remaining, but for the comfort, I used 2 yards. All right. So this is the black uh, crown I have already. So I have this crown before showing you how to block it with the white mat. So this is a black mat, and this is the crown. It's so beautiful. It's cool. I've pulled it out, trim off the excess. So the first thing I need to do to this crown is to ensure that the crown will not collapse at any time, and to ensure that what I need to do is to add the art wire to the crown. So there is a part of the crown that I folded down. So I'll just force the art wire in between that part, and then raise it up and press it down. Okay, you can start by using your sellotape to hold the art wire, but I did not hold mine because I intend to use my needle and thread to sew through the edge of the crown, thereby securing the wire inside before I will now use my material to um, wrap the crown. So the wire is seated already. The next thing I'm doing is that I'm going to sew it with my needle and thread. I can use any color of needle and thread because I will actually be covering this crown completely. I'll be covering it with with a different fabric. So no matter the color I use in sewing, it doesn't really matter. It will be covered and it will not be seen. And no matter how I choose to sew it, also, it doesn't matter because it will be covered. Is that all right? Okay, so now it's time for me to wrap this crown, and to do that I'll cut out 14 by 14 inches of fabric, the same measurement I cut for the paper mat. All right, so and also I'll still wrap it starting with east, west, north and south. That is holding four of the points to down before finally pulling everyone together to ensure smoothness. All right. So I think at this point of the video, if you watch this video from here, you will be able to understand everything that I'm doing. Just watch carefully. It doesn't really matter if you're a beginner. That is how I try to structure my videos. It doesn't really matter if you're a beginner. As much as possible, I don't want to jump steps. I want you to watch and be motivated so that you can make, even if you are not making fascinators for sale, you can make for yourself. That's just it. That is it. You can do it. You can make for yourself. All right. So this is it. Just watch this video to the end and you will get the details you need to get and you can become your own boss. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Please do not forget to subscribe. I will see you in my next video. For now, it is bye from my end. Bye.